gonna do a video. It's been a while since I've done a video. I'm at Highway 38 in Bryant. We'll go up. See Smokey Bear there. Fire dangers really up. You can see how dry it is now. Today is Monday, June 20th. This is some people are off today. It's a federal holiday, right? Federal, state, in some counties. Somebody said DMV was open, but I thought, pretty sure I don't know. I know it's federal because it's on my Google calendar. They observed it today, but it was yesterday. Anyway, let's see what the news is here. I just stopped and took pictures of Paul Bunyan there actually that's Garnett by the Green Spot Market. That's not Green Spot Road. That looks like Redlands. Looks like a Redlands bucket truck there. They must be working. Maybe they got a issue up here. Yeah, line crews, they don't have any. Well, they get their holidays, but they get called out too. The guys on call get called out. Anyway, traffic's not real bad. I'm gonna see what. There's been a car parked here. I think they're living here. I think those people are partying. But there's a car parking right. There's a bad area to park. I think right there. But be careful through here. You got the homeless living down here in the creek. Lots of them now. But you also got the partiers. Sometimes they'll park clear back to the bridge here, and they don't have no problem stepping out into traffic or opening a door. So be careful when you go through here, especially at night. Even the homeless will walk this. And you'll come around the corner. I almost hit a guy. He was right on the fog line, and he was all blacked out, closed, and he ducked my mirror. I mean, that's how close it was. Luckily, he was looking. Usually, they're looking for bottles or walking up to their camp up here. I'm gonna hit a turn out here. I've already drawn a line. If you go down the creek, I wouldn't swim in that creek. That's Turd Creek now. There's so many people up here partying, pooping in it, broken glass, peeing in it, leaving their food to rot down there. It's nasty. If you're gonna do it, I would go way, way up and hike up into the mountains where this comes from. Because that is nasty. There's hundreds of people here every weekend, and they just a lot of them are just slobs and pigs. Used to tube that when I moved here. It was real wet in 1980. This thing was flowing. You could raft that. We tubed it right here. We would go up higher. We would go up to the turn there at Valley of the Falls coming up, and we would tube down to here. Right here was right here was the fast part. You had to get out up here by the picnic area because it got really fast right here. In fact, I almost drowned right down there. Young and dumb, 20 years old, drinking some beer, and we were tubing down it, and we were all getting out right up here by the picnic area, but around this curve, right below the picnic area, it took off. And like a dummy, I wanted to see what the rest of it looked like, and I got knocked off my tube instantly. I hit a rock or a big tree, and for like about an eighth mile, I was bouncing off rocks. Luckily, I didn't crack my head. If I'd have cracked my head, I would have been dead. And then I got pinned up against a big rock underwater. It was really scary. I was all beat to hell. My shins, my arms, my back. I was hitting big limbs off trees. And by then I was getting too weak to grab anything. And everybody's cheering me on there, going like, "Go, dude, go!" Like I was doing it on purpose, and I was yelling help. I could barely yell for help. And finally, I got pinned up against that rock, and I thought, I'm going to die here. So I just took all my strength with my legs and pushed away from the rock. And the current I turned my shoulders, and the current caught me and whipped me down the creek. And it was getting really bad. I was thinking, God, I don't want to die here. And finally, this couple saw me coming, and I was hollering what little I could. And they went over and got a branch. And stuck it out. It was a pretty long branch. The guy was really cool. I'll let this guy go around me. Because it was hard. The people that were trying to get up, catch up to me, it was hard to run in the boulders and limbs on the shore. And they just timed it perfectly. And I swung into like a calm area behind a big rock. And I couldn't get up. I couldn't get out. They came over and basically dragged me up on the rocks. And I mean, I was bleeding everywhere. And, oh man, did that hurt. And my buddy finally comes up. He goes, "What are you doing, you knucklehead?" And I was like, I just wanted to see I was new to this creek, so I wanted to see how it was below. Because we had tubed way down by Mentone. It was nice and smooth down here, but up here, man, it really took off in some spots. It was like class 2, class 3 whitewater. You literally could have rafted that. It was that wide, that fast. I mean, it was an 80, 81, I think. Those 2 summers was just unbelievable. We would put in way up here and go all the way down to the before the bridge, before the campground. If you put in at the bridge, you could go clear down. You had to get out at Alabama because it was a low water bridge. It was culverts. Some guys would shoot the culverts. And I thought, man, there's no way. If you get caught in there, you know, you're going to drown. If a stick or something blocks it, some guys would shoot those culverts. You got out there and you went around Alabama and then down on, where did we get out? It was damn near the Santa Ana River. Or no, wait, Santa Ana, it joins the Santa Ana River over by Highlands. So it was down, shoot, where did we get out at? I'm trying to think. It was down by the 215. It was way down low. We'd park a car down there or pick up where we could haul a lot of people. Then we'd bring them up to the bridge there at the lower part. It's hot today. That's why I'm getting the hell out of Redlands. I did my yard chores and house chores early and gonna get up here where it's cooler. It was pushing 97, 98 when I left. We're supposed to hit near 100 all week. It's going to be a hot week. Summer starts Tuesday. Yeah, we put in right down here. We should have been wearing helmets. I mean, it was that fast of water. We should have had helmets on. But being 20, we weren't the brightest kids. Shout out to Pat. Pat was in AMS at Norton. I knew him through Rick Parker's. Everybody knows Rick Parker's. Pat, oh God, what was Pat's last name? He lived in Phoenix. Oh, I can't remember Pat's last name now. I feel so bad. Curtis? No, it wasn't Curtis. Anyway, shout out to Pat. I believe he was in AMS. Rick was in the admin of the wing headquarters, and Pat, I believe, was AMS. A lot of the guys I ran around with were AMS because I was in their dorm for a while. Took my truck and I got my housing. Here's where everybody repels over here on the right. Pat, oh man. Anyway, watch for when you come up here. There's rocks. There's always been rocks right here. You can see it's real rocky, but on the right. But even after the fire, seems like maybe a little more rock. But you see the green coming back where the fire burned. The fire burned that. It jumped the road back down there right at the Valley of the Falls turnoff. But you can see the green. I think this is what year? This will be year 2 in September. But see how it's starting to green back up. On the right here, all burned. Yeah, that's all the way up to San Bernardino Peak. On the left is still the full green. That's where they stopped the fire back down. When it jumped, Highway 38 back there, air attack and the hand crews, because this was going to burn up the Ambulance Oaks. This is the old road down below, the old road to Big Bear, that canyon down there. I think it's what's the name of that canyon there? Mountain Home Creek is in the bottom. You can still hike that and mountain bike it, but there's old home foundations down there you can explore. There's an old Boy Scout camp down there, I remember. Loch Levin's at the bottom. Loch Levin's a retreat there right off the road. You'll see the sign. They have a retreat back in there. In fact, they just had an open house. I missed it a couple weeks ago. But there's a trailhead parking at the bottom. There's Medication 9 from Mentone. If you park at the top, I'm trying to think. Sugar Pines Road. I'm trying to remember where we came down. Sugar Pines Road. I'll show you Sugar Pines. In fact, I'll ask Sammy and them up there I forget where the trailhead is up at top. I remember parking at the restaurant, the Oaks restaurant, and walking down from there. I think the trail goes all the way to the top. But you could get lower off Sugar Pine, I believe. It's been a while since I came down from the top. I've been hiking from the bottom. It's a little more secluded. I mean, everywhere these secluded parking spots, you can get smash and grab. They'll break into your vehicles. You can leave them unlocked. Even the bears can come in. Some people leave their windows down. I leave my windows up. I lock it. I've got cameras I use to watch my truck. I mean, at least I'll have a picture of who did it. They can still pop the window, and I've got an alarm, got other deterrents where they can't steal it. But a smash and grab, you're pretty much, there really ain't nothing you can do to stop that, except roll your window down. Because some of these windows get pretty expensive to change the newer cars. Anyway, you notice the bright yellow, I forget what that's called. That bright yellow bush. It grows right out of the rocks. I don't know how the hell it does it, but I'll show you up here when we get up here. There's one on the right there. Right there. There's a couple that are real bright. You see them? Yeah, this camera name may not be wide enough to see them. Let me pull back though. I hit a turn out. There's a bunch there if you saw them. But it goes right in the side of the rock. It's like, where the hell does that thing get water from? But they're really beautiful. Yeah, that's my favorite color. That dark kind of little tinge of orange in there. Well, it doesn't look like it has any orange in it. But that real bright ass yellow. The culverts they're putting them in where the fires. See the creeks that go underneath here? They all got plugged up. The silt that's running down from the fire when they have a storm. So they're putting culverts in to try and direct all that underneath the freeway so it doesn't, flood the freeway and block it. They've had a couple big, there's some rocks right there. They've had a couple big mudslides, rock slides, debris slides up here since the fire. One was up at Jinx Lake by Stetson Creek, just below Stetson Creek. That was a big one. It was like 6 foot tall mud and boulders covering the road. That took about a day to clean that out. Sugar Pines is coming up. Google Maps will show it. Yeah, Sugar Pine Circle. Excuse me. Sugar Pine Circle's down by, there's a pond. I think it's dry now. Last time I looked, it was pretty dry. Right here. Take Sugar Pines and go down canyon to where you come to that empty pond. I think it's the old water company's pond. That used to be, everybody used to swim in. It used to be, it was a great looking pond. I remember seeing water in it, but it was kind of mucky, yucky looking. Anytime you have stagnant water, it gets mossy and nasty, and really don't want to swim in it because I forget what that is that grows in it. If you get it inside your ears or nose, not meningitis, it attacks your brain. There's a little amoeba or whatever it is. Like when they have algae blooms in Big Bear, they tell you don't have to swim or let your dog in there either. I'll ask Sammy when I come back. Sammy at the Oaks restaurant, the dad, and Sammy Jr. he owns the restaurant. Sammy's in there helping a lot. But I thought I remember a park. You'd have to park in the restaurant parking lot up here. I don't remember doing that. Mountain Home Creek Road, that would be it right here. You could go down that too, Mountain Home Creek Road. I forget where you park though. I'm gonna come back later and there's the Oaks restaurant there, and they got a store. You got gas. If you need an adventure pass, they've got those. You need an adventure pass to park in the forest. Well, they say it's, people have fought it in court. It's kind of a double taxation because your taxes pay for the Department of Agriculture, which manages the forest. So how about using that money? But they want extra money for the infrastructure, they say. The toilets, the signs, the parking. So some people say you only need the pass when you're parked at an improved area, like a picnic area, camping area. If they got toilets, like the trailheads, like at South Fork. They're $35 for a yearly pass. You hang it on your mirror. They have I think it's a 5-day daily pass. You can get them in hardware stores, sporting goods stores, a lot of the vendors up here. The store in Forest Falls has them. The store there in Angels Oaks has them. I believe this is Cold Creek. Yeah, we just passed where this is Cold Creek. That waterfall I posted about last week was on the left here on Middle Control Road. I should have pointed that out. Yeah, I believe this is Cold Creek. This is what feeds that waterfall. That waterfall's right off the road. It's a nice day trip. You don't have to hike for it. It's up about 40 feet. Feels good to stick your head under there when you're hot and hiking. You can pull in there, have a picnic, or take a break, stick your head under the waterfall. It's not a big waterfall, but boy, it's damn cold mountain water. It feels good, real good. Anyway, we're on Highway 38. We're above Angels Oaks now. They just had a tour bus breakdown up here yesterday. It was blocking the upbound lane. This is upbound. If you're not familiar with mountains, they call this upbound because we're going up the mountain. You'll see it UB, listed as UB on the traffic reports that we put up. DB is downbound. That guy right there is downbound, or that lady. That'll be DB on, like CHP uses it, cops use it. They said 22.3 was the mile marker. Let's see where we're at. And 21.6, we're coming up close. The sheriff had to come in and, because they were broke for like 2-3 hours. It took a special tow or mechanic, they said, on the CHP kid to fix the bus. See, that bus just can't pull over anywhere. I guess they couldn't move it. Should be right up here. It was Camp Cedar Falls was the next. The entrance on the left to Camp Cedar Falls was the next mile marker, or the next landmark. I'm trying to see a mile marker. See these white signs on the right? Well, that's not one. Here's one. See this white vertical sign? 21.95. We're getting close. That's what they call a mile marker. Here's 22 right there. Right up here on the curve. So if you ever get broke down and they want to know where you're at, you can't get a fix or that long with your Google, walk. You don't have to walk far. There's 2210. And that's from down where Highway 38 starts in Redlands. So we're 22 miles up. 2221. Yeah, he broke down right on this curve, I think. But you'll have to walk 100 yards maybe. You give them the mile marker, and they can pinpoint exactly where you're at. Or if you're in between them, just guesstimate. If it's 2240 and 2260, just say 2250. If you're in between. 6,000 foot level, yeah, right here. Right here where that poor bus broke down. The other way to mark, if you got Google, if you got the internet, learn how to use Google Maps. And if you hold your finger on a location, like it'll show you a little dot. Mine shows me as a little blue dot. If you hold your finger there, it'll pop up a red pin. People call that dropping a pin. If you mark that with a pin, there's some people taking pictures. If you mark it with a pin, it'll give you the longitude and latitude. That will pinpoint. That can be inputted into like a search and rescue helicopter. The cops can take that, or the searching people, and plug it in on mapping software, and it'll show even in their Google Maps. I use Google Maps a lot. It'll show them or me exactly where you're at. Google Maps, I don't know if Waze does that. I don't use Waze that much. I'm not worried about burger stores and all that extra stuff that they throw in. I just want to know where I'm at. You know, and I can go satellite view, which is what it looks like from above. You know, satellite, you can zoom in pretty good. You got the road map view. I think there's a couple other views. And if you're going into crazy areas, like there was just a guy that just died in Death Valley, ran out of gas, and if you're going into crazy areas, there's Camp Cedar Falls there. If you're going into crazy areas where there ain't a lot of people, carry a beacon, a PLB, a personal locator beacon, because if you can't get cell, a sat phone, but they're really expensive, works. The other issue is PLB will alert. It goes to the U.S. Rescue Center, and it pinpoints you. They know exactly where you're at. And if you trigger that, I think mine was $250. I got an ARB one. If you trigger that alert, the cavalry's coming. Once they get an alert at the rescue center, somebody is coming. People use Spot also. Spot, and Garmin makes a rescue beacon. Some of those don't use the 406 megahertz. The ARB ones use the NOAA, I believe, Rescue Center. Some of the other ones just bounce off a satellite, like a rental satellite. And then they alert NOAA where you're at when you trigger a rescue. But with those, you can send messages. You can send text messages, and you can do like automatic breadcrumb check-in. Those have a few more options to where you can talk to your friends or family without triggering an alert, a national rescue alert. But the 406 has a little bit more reliability, I think, from what I've read and from my work in the service. They're your best chance of getting rescued. Somebody coming. The other issue is, what was I going to say about, what was it? Oh, one of the things, I hike solo a lot. I worry about, well, snake bite, I'll know I get snake bite usually. And then I can just trigger my beacon. If you fall and bonk your head and get knocked out, I just read about this guy that did this. You can lay there and bleed out and die. So he had an Apple Watch on. And the Apple Watch had a, what do they call it? Not a fatality. Anyway, it knows when you're not moving, when you're on the ground upside down, or laying down, you're not moving. You haven't moved for 5 minutes. In the prisons, they call it a rape alarm. The guard goes down, his radio goes into alert mode. But the Apple Watch alerted that this guy was down, and they went and saved him. They said he would have died if he hadn't had that Apple Watch. I've thought about getting that just for that reason, because my PLB won't go off. I carry it in my pocket, tied to me. That way I can't lose it or tear it off me. Hopefully it won't tear off. If you got it in a jacket or a pants pocket, I've read where guys, fell and slid and they tore their. I tore my pockets off up here in the shale. Your back pockets, it'll tear them off. Carry any important stuff like that, I usually tied to myself. You can wear it as a lanyard or tied to your pants. I mean, you could get your pants ripped off, but there's certain things, like a knife. I want my knife tied to me. Or in a secure pocket. I don't want my knife going away. Here's Jinx Lake Road West. Do I want to go down here? Let's see. Yeah, I wanted to go see Bob. Check in with Bob. I wanted to look at the flume. The Jinx Lake is shrinking. The flume is dried up. But I wanted to go down Glass Road too. Let's go see Bob, and then this is Jinx Lake Road West. It parallels Highway 38 for about 4 miles. I think I clocked it. It's on the south side of 38. There's a lot of camps and church camps and Boy Scout camps, cabins and homes up here, so you got to be careful. Most of it's posted. This first part's mostly posted, but it's national forest up here. This is Camp Round Meadows. I believe that's YMCA, and then 4C Creek Trail. The trailhead's up on the right there. They said you could check the water reports if you're hiking the spring up there. There's a bulletin board on Facebook called San Gorgonio Wilderness Trail, San Gorgonio Wilderness Board or Group. Anyway, they have water reports because you're going to suck a lot of water when it's hot like this today. So a lot of people, they don't want to carry that weight. I always carried it. I sucked a lot of water. I still do, but it's so much weight. But if you got a spring up above, you can suck all your water. And when you get there, but you got to make sure that spring's got water. If it doesn't, you're in trouble because you're gonna go dehydrate. And you're gonna head into what do you call it? When you don't have enough hydration, hypothermia. And usually you can tell when somebody's getting hypothermic because they get goofy and their pulse changes, their face color changes. Get them down, cool them off. You want to cool them off as fast as you can, like cold rags under their armpits. You want to get their core temp down fast. Looks like can't do that. I'll get a paving job. I need to stop in there and see them. Look like their road end got paved. Last week I saw deer right here they got a little archery target range right here on the right. I saw some deer right here. Looked like they were trimming the hedges for them. Let's see if we can see any deer in here. They were right there on the right. I don't know if you saw that yellow one. That's actually hay bales. They got hay bales up for the backstop. Yeah, the deer were right here. Middle of the day. They usually get up. The deer will get up middle of the day and they'll go get a drink if it's hot, and they'll nibble a little bit maybe, and they'll go lay down. They chew their cud like a cow. They regurgitate it back up and chew it. I'm not sure. I forget. Deer's only got one stomach though. Cow's got I think 2 or 3. But deer do the same thing. They burp it up and you'll hear them. If they're on acorns, you can hear them re-crunching those acorns. We're coming up the Jinx Lake Road. Now it's nice and dark in here. Nice and cool. Yeah, we should be coming up the Jinx Lake. Jinx Lake Road turn should be right up here. And in the winter, this is National Forest. You can come up here. I've seen people sledding here on the right. There's a little hill right here. Just make sure you park off the road and you're real safe with the kids. Don't let them sled into the road. And please pick up your trash when you're done. Leave no trace, as the saying goes. This gate's usually shut in the winter. Jinx isn't open in the winter. I think there's 2 gates here, if I remember right. Yeah, there's the other gate. Sometimes that one will be open and this one will be closed. There's a camp here. If you watch the fire videos I did, I went in there during the fire, Camp Laverne. coming. This will take you. This is a day use area. I think it's 7 to 6 p.m. They've got picnic benches. The lake's shrinking up, but you can fish. The fish is still pretty good for the little bass and bluegill. So it was so sad last week. 2 weeks ago, I saw. I think it was last week. A dad's bringing it. It looked like maybe the little girl's first time fishing. She was jumping up and down. She couldn't wait to go fishing. And Dad was all, going to show her how. And I thought, God, if that lake dries up, they won't have any fish in here anymore. But it was cool to see the little girl. And Pop was taking her out. Here's a check-in kiosk here. I don't know if anybody's there. I'm going to drive around to where Bob and them. $5 per car, 40 per bus, 7 to 6. I guess you can automatically check out time 6 p.m. They have a pay thing right there. So Bob said he was going to get up. We're trying to figure out where the flume is getting cut off. He may be up. That's how I wanted to talk to him. Last Monday, he said he was going to go up after I found it dry. He was going to go up and see if it was a rock dam again, or if I got my shovel this time to help clear out the dirt and sediment. It's running into the creek from the fire, the lake fire 7 years ago. There's Bob. I'll pull off. We'll have a talk with him.